Well, I think Pakistan has already taken whatever steps it could. It has done two things in response to India's convening of a tourism working group meeting of the G20 in Srinagar, occupied Kashmir. It first protested against such a meeting, pointing out that this is disputed territory, it's a disputed region. Secondly, it was obviously in quiet touch with friendly countries, especially members of the OIC, such as Saudi Arabia and Turkey. And as a consequence, as you know, China boycotted the meeting, so did Turkey, Saudi Arabia also didn't go. And I think because Pakistan had highlighted how wrong this was for India to hold this meeting in violation of UN Security Council resolutions, that many other countries that did send their representatives to the meeting sent very junior reps from their missions in Delhi. So really, this was a setback for India. It was a setback for Indian diplomacy, because the aim clearly of India was to try to showcase to the world that somehow normalcy had returned to occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Whereas, as you know, and we all know, that the situation there remains grim. In fact, even before this meeting, security was tightened to the point where more arrests were made of people, and basic rights of people to move around was suspended. So, I mean, everyone knows what the situation is in Jammu and Kashmir. But by taking this action, India actually ended up highlighting to the world how the issue of disputed Kashmir still waits to be resolved. Well, I think we've already seen a response from some members of the international community. Several countries didn't show up at this meeting. And also, I think the disputed nature of the region has come into international view. We had a UN rapporteur who made it clear that India's efforts to try to show normalcy were just absolutely false. So, you know, already we are seeing an international reaction, but naturally we need to see more, because unless we see a serious effort at the international level to address this issue, the issue is not going to go anywhere. Well, the United Nations, as you know, has long-standing obligations on this issue. The issue of occupied Jammu and Kashmir is amongst the oldest items on the Security Council agenda, along with the Palestinian issue. And we have not one, but several resolutions on Kashmir that remain unimplemented. So I think there is an obligation. Now, of course, the problem or the challenge is that the powerful members of the Security Council, the big powers who are members of the Security Council, either disagree with the implementation of these resolutions or simply don't move. This has been the history of non-implementation of these resolutions of the United Nations itself. So unless there is a consensus amongst the big powers in the Security Council, action of the kind that we would like to see, that Pakistan would like to see, and above all the people of Kashmir would like to see, won't happen. So I think the important role that the UN can play remains, but I have to also point out that the UN Human Rights Council, which is based in Geneva, as you know, has issued a report more than once on human rights violations in Kashmir. And a UN rapporteur only recently, just a few days ago, did speak out and did call out India on trying to show normalcy in the occupied region, whereas the occupied region was anything but normal. And the bilateral relationship between Pakistan and India has already sunk to such a low that this action by India to convene this meeting, this G20 tourism working meeting in Srinagar, is not going to make matters any worse than they already are. But clearly, the two countries now are in a state of no war, no peace, with dialogue suspended for several years now. And as you know, tensions keep flaring up from time to time. So this action by the Indian government only adds another irritant to the long history of disputes and tensions between the two neighbors.